Hey there guys, Harry Cricket 3 here and welcome to a new video. Now this weekend was the final of Euro 2024. We all know the result, so I thought what better way than to react to my predictions I made a month ago and see how well I did. So without further ado, let's react. Immediately, Germany pop out as favourites for me to win this group. They have been a little bit poor at the last few tournaments, but Julian Nagelsmann is now their coach. He's probably the most talented coach out of the 24 teams here, but his record in tournaments isn't too great. It is a good squad. It's a very talented squad. I think Germany have got to top this group. If they don't, I think they'll be very disappointed with themselves because it is a comfortable group on paper for them. So where do the goals come from Scotland? That's my main worry. Other than that, they've got a really good team, but they've been a bit poor at recent tournaments. So maybe when they face the experience of Switzerland or Hungary, they could be in a little bit of trouble. Now, Hungary are really exciting going into this Euros. They've been in amazing form. They really well coached. They play really attacking football, and it all goes through their main man, Dominik Szoboszlai. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan. I've seen him all season. He was a little bit disappointing near the end, but he started off really brightly. And for Hungary, he's a monster for them. I'm going to go Hungary second though, because I think their football is slightly better than Switzerland's right now. I'm going to go Switzerland in third. And even though I really want Scotland to qualify, I don't think it's going to happen, which is disappointing. But sorry, Scots, I don't think you're going to qualify. Okay, so not too bad of a start there. I got Germany to top the group spot on. And even though they had some promising players, I thought Scotland would just fall short in last place. The one prediction I made that did not work in this, though, was obviously Hungary finishing second. I thought they would just pip Switzerland. I thought they might get a draw in that first game and then win against Scotland. They did win against Scotland very late after the injury to their striker, but ultimately it wasn't to be for Hungary. Switzerland did very well in this group. They could have topped the group at one point, but they conceded a late equaliser to Germany. And they were very good in the group stage, so not too bad of a start for Group A. Now, Spain are the current Nation League holders, so they've at least won something in recent years, but it's not the same squad that was so dominant in the late 2000s, early 2010s. But they have got a good crop of young players coming through. I'm surprised they haven't given captaincy to Rodri. They've decided to give it to Morata over him. Maybe Morata's a good leader, I'm not too sure. But his record in Euros isn't actually too bad, so he could be a good goal scorer for them. There's obviously a lot of talk about Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old who's probably going to play for them and start for them in a lot of matches. But I think a lot of the attacking play has to come through guys such as Dani Olmo, Mikel Oyarzabal, and also Ferran Torres. But do they have the goals in them to top this group? I don't necessarily think so. Typically, they start group stages quite slow and then progress into the tournament. So I'm going to go Croatia at the top just because I think there's such a experienced side at this point. You could argue maybe it's one tournament too many for them. I'm going to go Spain in second, Italy in third, Albania in fourth. Okay, so next up, Group B. Now, once again, I've got the last place team spot on in Albania, even though their fans were unbelievable, especially when they scored that early goal against Italy. What an atmosphere that was. But I thought Croatia would top. I thought this was going to be their last tournament with this crop of players, and I thought they would end it quite well. However, they struggled in the first game massively against Spain. They looked good in patches. I mean, they had more possession than Spain, but they lost 3-0, and it was really dominant from the Spanish. Italy looked good on the ball in the first game against Albania, but then after that, I don't know what happened. They got absolutely outplayed by Spain, and then they were losing to Croatia for so long. And then they just about got the equaliser last minute, and it was heartbreak for Croatia. They should have finished second, Croatia, but they finished third. They did not make it out of the group stage. I thought they were top, so overall that's a bit poor. But Spain, I got them to go through, they did. Albania, I got them to go last, and they did. Straight away, I think it's logical to put England top of the group. I think they've got the best squad out of the four teams. They don't come into this in great form at all. They've been really poor in some recent friendlies, but I think they topped qualifying as always. And the crop of players they've got coming through is really strong. They've got likes of Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka. It's a really promising future for England. If they don't win this Euros, people might think it's a big chance missed, and maybe it is. But I think the squad is there for England to think about the future and say, okay, we might not win this Euros. It's the last tournament under Southgate. Let's get a new coach in and really target the next World Cup because we've got an amazing chance at that. So maybe that's how the FA should play it on a tactical level. In second, I'm going to go with Denmark. Even though they were really poor at the last World Cup, they were really good at the last Euros. They reached the semi-finals before getting knocked out to England. I'm going to go Slovenia in third. Even though Serbia, I think, have a better squad than Slovenia. Slovenia have some really good quality in key areas with Jan Oblak in goal and Benjamin Sesko up front. And this could be a real chance for Benjamin Sesko to prove what he's about in England's group and have lots of highlights on him. Okay, so the first perfect group, England finished first, Denmark second, Slovenia third, Serbia fourth. I thought England would steamroll this group, but they did not look good at all. The Slovenia game was 0-0, Denmark game I think was 1-1. I mean, Serbia, they could have easily equalised against England as well, so it was really unconvincing, but they made it through in first place. And lots of people said this was the most boring group to watch, and I definitely agree with that. With France obviously being the key favourites to win here, they were very good in qualifying as always. They were the finalists at the last World Cup. They got knocked out in a poor fashion, I guess, to Switzerland in the last Euros, which was, as I said, one of the best matches ever. But I think they'll top this group. I think they've got the quality to pip Netherlands. They beat them twice in qualifying by very small margins. But the Dutch do come into this Euros with a very good squad. Frankie de Jong's out, which is a shame for them, but they brought in Ian Maatsen as his replacement. But they've got a lot of quality in key areas, and I think they could be a possible dark horse this tournament. They haven't performed well at many recent tournaments. I think this is a time where the Dutch could really prove what they're about. Lots of their players have had very good seasons. Van Dijk's had an incredible season at Liverpool. Xavi Simons at Leipzig's been amazing, and he could be a real star player for them. Memphis Depay up front is really good for the Dutch, and you got Cody Gakpo, who seems to step up for the Netherlands every time he plays. I'm going to go Austria in third. Now, Austria have been absolutely amazing in the run-up to this Euros. Under Ralf Rangnick, they play really high energy, Red Bull style football, and I think that could translate well to this Euros. Okay, so group of death, Group D. I thought France would top, Netherlands second, Austria third, Poland fourth. In the end, Austria topped the group. What a performance from them. They played some really lovely football. They looked so good against the Netherlands. They beat Poland. They probably could have drawn against France as well if they took one of their chances or didn't concede their own goal. And even though France looked good on the ball against Austria, apart from that, against the Netherlands they were poor, against Poland they were poor. Really not convincing from them. And the Dutch, they got through in third place, but they also needed a bit of luck to go their way. Now, this one I think should be quite a straightforward group for Belgium. They were obviously shambolic at the last World Cup, but I'm going to go with them to top this group. They've got rid of Roberto Martinez now. He's now managing Portugal, and they've brought in Tedesco, who's also translated good form with them in qualifying and recent friendlies. And they've always turned up, I think, in the pre-tournament stuff, but in the actual tournaments, they've been a little bit disappointing. It could be De Bruyne's last tournament. I mean, Lukaku's not getting any younger. So guys like Yuri Tielemans have to step up. Trossard have to step up. They've got the quality though. It's just defensively is a little bit of a worry for them. But this group should be a breeze for them. I'm going to go Ukraine in second, who have been very impressive coming into this Euros. I think they're going to finish second. I'm going to go Slovakia in third. Romania were probably better than Slovakia in qualifying. I think they topped their group, but they always disappoint at Euros, and every single Uber driver I've spoken to who's Romanian has said they have absolutely no chance. Okay, so Group E, what a weird group this was. All four teams ended on 4 points. I thought Belgium would top. They finished second, they did go through. Romania, every single Romanian person I spoke to before the tournament said no chance for them to go through. But they topped the group. I mean, that result against Ukraine in the first game was unbelievable. I thought Slovakia were outstanding this tournament. I thought they were on the eye, very good to watch. They lost against Ukraine, but they probably should have won that game. It was a little bit disappointing from them. And they beat Belgium, so it was a really good tournament for them. And they were so close to beating England in the next round. So Slovakia, well done to them. They had a good tournament. But this group was really weird. I thought Ukraine and Belgium would go through. In the end, it was Belgium, Slovakia, and Romania who went through. I'm going to go Portugal in first. I'm going to go with Turkey just about in second over the Czech Republic, who have been good in recent tournaments. They were very good at the last Euros, actually, when they pipped Netherlands. I think they've got the mix of a really rigid system and a great goal scorer in Patrick Schick to get through this group in third place. Okay, so finally, Group F. I thought Portugal and Turkey would top the group, and they did. I thought Czech Republic would finish third, but they just fell short. And Georgia, what a performance from them to get out of this group stage. I think they were one of the teams to watch, and they got through, so what a result for their nation. I'm going to go Austria as the best third place team, I think. I think they could easily draw against both Netherlands and France, and then beat Poland, which probably puts them in either second or third. But I'm going to go Austria first. I think Italy will go through. I'm going to go Switzerland in third, and then Czech Republic, I think, is going to be the last team. So moving on to the knockout stages. In the round of 16, out of the 16 teams, I managed to get 12 spots on, which I think is pretty good. And the 4 teams I thought would go through were Hungary, Croatia, Czech Republic, and Ukraine. And the 4 teams that did were really surprise teams in Slovenia, Slovakia, Georgia, and Romania. Am I massively upset with that? Not too much. I think 12 out of 16 is solid. And I think the 4 teams I predicted to go through probably should have gone through. But I think Germany have to come through this match. Next up, Hungary against Spain. This is going to be my surprise, I think. I think Spain are good, but under their new manager, De La Fuente, he's only managed the Spanish youth teams, which have done well, but has he got the experience in the big matches? And Hungary look really, really good coming into this tournament. And there's always a surprise team that reaches latter stages. And I think Hungary could knock out Spain here and be that team this year. But I'm going to go with experience to knock out Ralf Rangnick here. I'm going to go Croatia to edge Austria. I think England have to win this. I think Czech Republic are good, but I'm not sure they can defeat England. Portugal are a really strong team coming into this Euros. Their squad looks fantastic. And I think they are one of the 3 favourites to win alongside England and maybe France. Attacking options. I'm going to go Netherlands to beat Ukraine here and make it through to the quarterfinals. But I think Belgium
there's not much pressure on them this tournament. I think there normally is with the golden generation, but this time there's slightly less of that. I think they've got some game changers to do the job on Switzerland. So I'm going to go Belgium to edge Switzerland, and then finally we have France against Turkey. I think that's an easy swipe for France. I think France is way too good for Turkey.
Okay, so my round of 16 predictions were not too bad. However, there's one clear error here. I said Spain would not make it to the quarterfinals. I thought there was something about the team. I thought losing all the experienced players because of the youth in their team, I thought they might struggle into big games, but they got through. They did really well. Other than that, not too bad predictions here. And into the quarterfinals, I managed to get 5 out of the 8 teams spot on. And the 3 teams I expected to go through were Hungary, Croatia, and Belgium. And the 3 that did were Spain, Turkey, and Switzerland. So once again, not too bad. The Spanish prediction is probably the worst one because I thought that would be a surprise, but they managed to get through, and obviously we all know what happened in the end. So only predicted the winners to get out in the round of 16. Little bit poor from me.
I don't think they're going to do it. I think Julian Nagelsmann, he's not that great of a tournament coach, I know, but I think he's got enough. Now, lots of people back Portugal a lot this tournament. Now, I do as well to an extent, but something tells me Roberto Martinez, they could have done better than him as an international coach. Yes, I know he's probably learned from his time at Belgium, and he did take them to a World Cup semi-final in 2018. This is a better squad than he ever had at Belgium. He's got a better defence now, he's got a better midfield, and he's got Cristiano Ronaldo up front. And the whole aspect of Portugal could win the Euros, and Argentina could win Copa America, and then Ronaldo and Messi play each other to end both their careers could be such a good storyline. But I think there's always a surprise result. A lot of people would back Portugal here. I'm going to go Netherlands. I think Netherlands have got something about them this tournament. I just really fancy them for some reason. And the fact that Netherlands would have had to play France to get out of the group, whereas Portugal would have had to play Czech Republic and Turkey, who aren't as good as France, I think that would help Netherlands. The fact that they would have had to play a good country in France and an entertaining, energetic country in Austria, it could really help them. So I'm going to go Netherlands to edge Portugal in a surprise result of the quarters. I think Belgium are good, but I think France are just considerably better. Okay, so finally we have England against Hungary. Now, England are probably massive favourites coming into this match, but I'm really worried for their defence. The fact that they've got no Maguire, they might have no Luke Shaw, and they're coming into this tournament on really horrific form. And if I'm not mistaken, Hungary beat England 4-0 recently, so I could easily see Hungary pipping England here, really using their match winners in Szoboszlai and Salai up front, and they could really cause an upset here. And there's always a team that reaches the semi-finals that nobody expects. Imagine if this is Scotland. Scotland are in Hungary's group. Scotland could be in Hungary's position, reaching the quarters and playing England. It's well on the cards, and that would be an amazing match to watch. But I'm going to go Hungary to go through to the semi-finals and be the surprise story of this Euro.
Okay, so not too bad. I did say Portugal would not make the semi-finals. That was a massive prediction at the time because everyone had Portugal finishing in the semis or even winning the whole tournament. And I said, I don't really see it with Roberto Martinez. And I was spot on. Yes, they lost on penalties, which you could say is a bit unlucky, but it's a big call to predict a favourite not to reach the semis, and they didn't. I got the Dutch reaching the semis spot on. A lot of people didn't fancy them this tournament. I thought they would do well, and they did do pretty well, I think, in hindsight. And ultimately, out of the 4 teams that I predicted to get to the semis, 2 were spot on in France and Netherlands. And the 2 I got wrong were Hungary, who are going to be my dark horses tournament, and also Germany, who are the hosts. I think it's a little bit poor from Germany not to get to the semis. They looked good at the tournament, but they were little patches of luck going their way. I mean, against Switzerland, they got a really last minute equaliser. Against Denmark, they were a bit lucky. And then obviously against Spain, they got the equaliser late on, and then they conceded an extra time to a great header from Mikel Merino. So went on Spain to defeat Germany, and Germany and Hungary did not make the semi-finals. Spain and England did.
Now, first off, I'm going to do France-Hungary. I think Hungary's story ends here, unfortunately. I think France are way too good for them. But I think defeating Germany will be slightly too much for the Dutch. They've got Ronald Koeman. They've done well under him in the past. But I think Julian Nagelsmann's Germany are going to reach the final and play France.
So obviously, as we know, the final was Spain against England, which means I did not get a single team in the final correct. A little bit poor, I think. But in hindsight, I think France should have reached the final. I think Germany were one of the favourites to reach the final. So I think in terms of prediction, it was a horrendous prediction. And they both got to the latter stages in the quarters and the semis. But in hindsight, not getting one of the finalists is quite poor.
I'm going to go with the French to win the Euros. They are one of the favourites, I know, but I think France will win the Euros this time.
And obviously Spain were the winners of the Euros. I had them going out in the round of 16, England as the runners-up, and they probably should have gone out in the round of 16, the quarters and the semi-finals, but they got very lucky with the penalty against the Netherlands, with the last-minute equaliser against Slovakia. I mean, it was all crazy for England. And am I super upset that I predicted them to go out in the quarters? Not at all. And I think Spain, well done. They won the tournament. They won our hearts. They were the best team by a mile. They played the best football by a mile. I think them and Germany were probably the best on the eye in terms of attacking football, maybe with Austria as well. But Spain, defensively solid. It's not like they parked the bus or anything. They played a high line. The teamwork and the team spirit between them was unbelievable. They had so many players who don't play for like big La Liga clubs. Now, don't get me wrong, Sociedad are a big club, Bilbao are a good club, but they're not Real Madrid and Barcelona level. They had so many players from the region who excelled for them. I mean, Fabian Ruiz, what a tournament from him. He barely plays at PSG. Dani Olmo, we all know how good he is, but he really shone this tournament. Rodri was class. He won player of the tournament in the end. Morata as a captain, that's one thing I questioned at the start. He deservedly captain. He led his team so well. It's not like he scored a load of goals or anything. He just linked up play with the wide forwards and Yamal and Williams so well. And I really underestimated him as a leader. And well done to Morata. It was ultimately a really good team performance from Spain and an amazing coaching performance from their manager. The changes he made against Germany and against England, with Oyarzabal scoring against England and Mikel Merino scoring against Germany, a really good coaching performance. Best coach of the tournament, best team of the tournament, deserved winners of the tournament. Okay, so now let's have a look at the awards I predicted and who actually won them.
France, I'm expecting them to go really far here. I think Kylian Mbappe is going to win the top scorer award this year.
Okay, so not the greatest start there. I put Kylian Mbappe as the top scorer. He did finally score in the Euros. He hadn't scored a single goal before this tournament. Then he got the injury in the first game, and it looked like he might not score again. But he did end up scoring a penalty against Poland, so at least he got one. But in the end, the Golden Boot was actually shared by a load of players with 3 goals in Cody Gakpo, Jamal Musiala, Dani Olmo, Harry Kane, Devan Schranz, and Mika Tutse from Georgia. So really well done to all of them. And 3 to win the Golden Boot. It's not that great, but no one really stood out as a striker this tournament. All these attacking players, they deserve their credit.
Most assists now, and I'm going to go with a French guy again. I'm going to go with Antoine Griezmann.
Okay, so Griezmann for most assists. Not the most horrendous prediction, considering how good he was at the World Cup, and considering I thought France would win the Euros. But in the end, it was the 16/17-year-old Lamine Yamal. I mean, the assist he got in the final was great. He did really well this tournament, and I thought he would be good for Spain. I didn't think he would be this good, and most assists, deservedly so, went to Lamine Yamal. What a tournament he had.
But I'm going to go safe. I'm going to go Mike Maignan from France to win the Golden Glove this year.
Okay, so finally, spot on here. Golden Glove. I went with Mike Maignan from France. Ultimately, was he the best goalkeeper this tournament? I don't think so. I don't think he had to make that many saves, but he had 4 clean sheets. France defensively were very good. Their backline was solid, and he didn't have to do anything, but he ended up winning the Golden Glove without barely touching the ball with 4 clean sheets.
Now, player of the tournament, I think if Mbappe is the top scorer, Mbappe's got to move to Real Madrid. I think it's just written for Mbappe to be the player in the tournament.
Okay, so player of the tournament, I went with Kylian Mbappe. I thought this move to Real Madrid would spark some confidence in him. Then he got injured in the first game, and I thought, what the hell, am I luck here? But in the end, it was Rodri. Did he deserve it? Little bit of question marks over that. I mean, he was good as a leader. He was really good defensively. But I thought for Spain, even though it was a team spirit, the players that really shone for me were Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, and you could say the 2 wide forwards in Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. Rodri was outstanding. Was he the top 3 players for Spain? Maybe underratedly, maybe you don't see the defensive work as much as you see the goals that Ruiz and Olmo scored, and that's why they gave it to him. But I would have given it to Fabian Ruiz personally. But Rodri's been underrated for years, and I think he deserves a Ballon d'Or. Even before this tournament, I thought he deserved the Ballon d'Or. I don't get why Vinicius Jr. and why Bellingham are nominated. I mean, Bellingham I see more than Vinicius, but I don't see what Vinicius did this year that's making him Ballon d'Or level.
And finally, young player of the tournament. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone will probably say Lamine Yamal, considering he's playing at 16 at the Euros, and Spain typically have a very good PR at all these competitions. Whether you play for Barcelona or Real Madrid, you typically get a lot of recognition. But I think Xavi Simons is going to have an exceptional Euros. I think Netherlands are going to go far. I'm going to go Xavi Simons to win the young player of the Euros.
And finally, young player of the tournament, as I said Lamine Yamal is probably going to win it because of the fact that he's from Barcelona and he's only 16. But I thought Xavi Simons would win it because I thought Netherlands would go far. I thought they'd go further than Spain. I thought that would mean he would win it. But he had a good tournament. He had a very good tournament, and a lot of teams are looking at him now. But Lamine Yamal, I think deservedly so, won young player of the tournament with most assists, youngest player to start in the final, youngest player to do this, this, and this. Young player of the tournament, Lamine Yamal. Okay, so finally, to round off the video, I'm going to be giving you my team of the tournament. So in goal, I've gone with the Georgian keeper, Mamardashvili. I thought he was outstanding as a goalkeeper. He's the main reason Georgia got out of the group stage. And even though Maignan had the most clean sheets, Mamardashvili deserves a lot of credit for what Georgia did this tournament. I think he was the best goalkeeper in terms of shot stopping, distribution, everything. He was outstanding. And as a Liverpool fan, even though I don't want to predict this is going to happen in the next few years, if Alisson does end up leaving in, let's say, 2 or 3 years' time, I really want to see Mamardashvili come in. I think he's the perfect Alisson replacement. He gives me that kind of vibe of like a real presence, real good shot stopper, decent enough at distribution. He could be the guy Liverpool should be looking at if Alisson decides to leave in the future. I think he's the guy. At right back, I've gone with Jules Koundé. There wasn't any outstanding right backs I thought this tournament, but I thought he was the best one. Defensively, France were really solid, and I thought he deserves a lot of credit for that. The two centre backs I've gone with are Virgil van Dijk and Mark Guéhi. Even though Van Dijk's Netherlands didn't keep as many clean sheets as they thought they would, I thought his presence was amazing the whole tournament. In key moments of the games, the defensive work you don't really see highlighted in the main match highlights. Van Dijk did exceptionally. His aerial duel win rate is unbelievable. He led his team really well. Getting them to the semi-finals was really good, and ultimately they got knocked out because of a dodgy penalty. I mean, that's never a penalty, and they could have easily got to the final. So I think Van Dijk deserves a lot of credit for that. And Mark Guéhi, what a tournament he had for England. Really good replacement for Harry Maguire. I think England have to look at that in the future, look at playing players who can actually play modern day football with their feet, aerial presence, everything. Even though Harry Maguire is great for England, look how Spain did. They didn't choose their big legends or anything. Like they went with a young team. They thought, come on, let's just outplay everyone. And that's what they did. That's what England have to try and do. Get Mark Guéhi in, get players like Ollie Watkins in. I know Harry Kane's brilliant. Get the pace in Ollie Watkins. He's clearly got it. He can do it for England if you can start consistently. They have to look at that in the future. Left back, absolutely no doubt. Marc Cucurella, what a tournament he had. I was surprised he started originally. I thought Grimaldo would start after the season he had with Bayer Leverkusen, but De La Fuente went with Cucurella, and what a decision it was. He was outstanding from minute one to the final. And considering Gary Neville said Spain will not go far because of Cucurella, him standing up and being one of Spain's best players this tournament was unbelievable. Ultimately, it was his assist that won Spain the Euro. So Cucurella, what a tournament. Okay, so the midfield three I've gone with, it might be slightly biased, but I've gone with the all Spanish midfield of Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Dani Olmo. I think all three of them were outstanding. Olmo joined top scorer. Fabian Ruiz, in my opinion, played the tournament. Rodri won the player of the tournament. As a unit, they were unbelievable. I don't think any of the midfielders from any of the other nations topped those three. I do want to give a shout out to Arda Güler of Turkey. I thought he was outstanding. I thought Lobotka was really good for Slovakia. And considering Netherlands lost De Jong and Koopmeiners before the tournament, who are two big players for them, I thought Reinders really stepped up for them. And finally, for the attack, I've gone Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side. I thought he was clearly the best right winger in this tournament. No debate about that. At left wing, I've gone with Cody Gakpo. No debate about that. Top scorer. Amazing for Netherlands. Really good tournament from him. Nico Williams deserves a shout. Other players probably deserve a shout, but Cody Gakpo for me. And a centre forward, not striker, centre forward. I've gone with Jamal Musiala. I thought he was really good. Florian Wirtz deserves a shout. Mikatudze from Georgia deserves a shout, but he was the best forward. Morata deserves a bit of credit for how well he linked up, but for me, Jamal Musiala, outstanding. Okay, so that's it for my reaction, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment with your team of the tournament and how you predicted the Euros to finish. If you want to watch the original video, I'll leave a link here. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all later.